Hey everyone, Adam Geisen again. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you add labels to emails, ways to organize things, kind of like folders, and we're going to dive even deeper into creating filters that'll automatically filter emails as they come in, put them in the right place, so you know where your emails are all going. So let's take a look. Those of us in the Windows world, we're used to organizing things into files and folders, and Gmail does something very similar, but kind of gives it an extra twist. They call them labels instead of folders, and this is a great way to organize things, and actually a little bit more versatile. So the way you add labels to emails, go ahead and choose an email, open up one either that's been opened or not, and at the very top you'll see sort of a roll of, or a line of icons. It starts with the archive and then reporting spam and so on. The far right is a labels button. If you click on labels, it will allow you to add a label. You can either create a new one down at the bottom or choose one that's already created. So if I put this into we've got the social and the forums and the promotional folders on this one. I'm going to add a new email because these are all coming from if this then that, which is a great website, but this is my IFT file, so I'm going to call that label IFT. What you'll notice is up at the top, right next to the subject line, you've got the labels that are attached to this particular email. So it is in my inbox and it is in my IFT label. I can add other labels to it as well. If I click the labels button, let's say I want to put it in social. That's where it'll show up. If I want to add my invitations folder, you'll notice that showed up there on the list as well. So to remove it from a label, just simply click the X and it goes away. On the left-hand side of the screen, below your inbox and your snoozed and sent, you can also find everything that has that label simply by clicking on the name. If you click on it, it'll bring up basically everything that's in that quote-unquote folder, even though they're not really folders. Your label options are also really handy. The three dots just to the right of the label name, if you click on that, it brings up some options. You can change the label color, give it a little bit of personalization. You can scroll down just a touch and say only show if unread. So your label will actually disappear until there's something unread in it, and that time it'll show up. You can hide it altogether. You can hide all those emails in the message list. You can edit, remove it, and add sub-labels as well. So you can have labels within labels. Now, emails can be in multiple labels, as you saw. So this is a great way, again, to organize the emails that are coming in, to make sure that you know where everything goes and be able to find it easily. Now, obviously, the easiest way to find anything in Gmail is to use your search bar. And you can find search labels just by simply saying label, colon, spell it right, label, colon, I'll put my IFT label there, and then look for specific words. For this case, I'll say Watson because that's what that email shows up. And so there's that email in that label, and I searched only within that label for that certain word. So labels are handy. Now let's take a look at creating filters so that Gmail will add these labels without you having to do it. So you can have Gmail automatically add labels to emails as they come in. And the best way to do that is to create filters. So there's two ways to create a filter. I'm going to show you the first way, which is the easiest and probably most popular way, then I'll show you the back end way. But the first way is to create a filter based on an email as it comes in. So like I've got these emails here, and here's one from Mike Wilgus, and the title is Hello, and it's What up, Victor? He wants to send me emails, and I want to make sure that when those emails come in, they get a label attached to them so I can find them easily later. So the best way to do that is to open up that email and then click on our More button just to the right of the labels. And if you click on that and look down just a little bit, you can filter messages like these. So if you click on that, it's going to bring up a new filter, and it automatically puts in who that email is from. So if I say only the emails from Mike at EdTech Creative go into a particular folder, I'll say we're going to call it a Mike folder. I'll do that in a second. But let's say I only want the ones where he talks about Google. So if I say Mike, and that's where they're coming from, and has the words Google, then it's going to find every email that has the word Google in it from Mike, and it's going to put it into a label. I can do the same thing with subjects. I can add just whatever information I want to the subject, and then it's going to see everything with that subject and put it into a folder. So once I create my filter, which for right now I'm just going to leave it at from Mike, I'm going to drop down to create filter. One more thing before we move on. You can say whether or not that email has an attachment. Chats means, is it going to see Hangout chats? And you can filter Hangout chats that same way. But again, it'll add, if it has an attachment, something greater than a certain size goes into a certain label. So I'm just going to leave it at Mike at EdTech Creative, and I'm going to create this filter. When I create the filter, it's now going to give me some options, and it's going to say, what do I want to do with that email once it comes in? And you can have it skip the inbox and go straight to your all mail, or if it'll just show up in a label if you attach a label, you can mark it as red, you can give it stars, which again is another way for you to sort of organize your own stuff. You can apply the label, and here again is where we're going to do this. So I can either say I want it for sure to go into that IF folder or invitation folder. I'm going to call a new folder called Mike, and I'm going to create that. So now what it's going to do, the email is going to come in, it's going to go into that label. I can also choose it to forward onto another email address, or I can just automatically delete it. If I'm not a big fan of Mike, I can automatically delete all his emails as they come in. That's tempting, but I'm not going to do that. You could also say never send it to spam, which is really good if you're working on, you're joining a new group and they say something like add these emails to your accepted list. Well, this is the way to do it. Create that filter and say never send it to spam. That way you always know you get it and it doesn't go into your spam folder. You can always mark it as important, never mark it as important, or you can categorize it into one of the priority, the inbox categories, personal, social, updates, forums, and so on. And that will also, again, at the bottom, apply it to all of the matching conversations. Once you apply that option, I'm going to skip the inbox and go right into the Mike label. I'm going to create that filter. Now it's going to see over here on the left that I've got a Mike label, and it's going to add any new emails that come to me from him. So another way to add a filter is by starting out in our settings gear, choosing settings from that gear, and then choosing filters and blocked addresses. Here's where you can do that exact same thing. You can click on create a new filter. You can import filters from other email addresses, and you can block email addresses down below. But that creating a new filter will bring up basically the exact same place where you started out if you started from the email. All right, hopefully that's helpful stuff. Creating filters and adding labels is a great way to organize your inbox and keep your stuff where it's supposed to be.